So apologies for that, folks. I'm kind of cut out, and I kind of lost my train of thought now. But I think we were talking about Mateus Cunha, and I was basically saying that the price tag it's definitely up there at the top end of what he's worth. I would have been a lot more comfortable had it been closer to 40, 45 million, but what it is at the end of the day. And if he hits the ground running, then we won't be talking about his transfer fee. What do you
Yeah,
think, Carl?
I'm fairly confident about Kuna because he, much like Amad Diallo, he's a very, very confident individual and really believes in
Mm.
his own ability. So I have no doubt that he will be a success at Old Trafford.
Okay. And then also, whilst we're in talks, do you think we should make inquiries about Out Nuri?
Yeah, why not? He seems like a player who's got quality. So if we're shopping at Wolves this summer, why not get another
Mm,
purchase from that part of the world? You,
absolutely, especially in the Premier League. I think for me, the two who left wing backs that stood out for me, the young ones, are him and Kirkez. They're the two that look like they can go up a level or two.
yeah, and I think Kirkes will be very expensive for Liverpool, I would
Hmm.
assume. Uh, you're probably talking in the 60 million bracket.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I was saying. It kind of irked me that they're getting their business done early and they're getting a couple of wing backs and that. But yeah, I think my level of disappointment would certainly depend on the final fee. So yeah, yeah. So again, if they pay a really high fee, then fair enough. But if it's reasonable, it's going to irk me, especially now, like we said, Alvaro Fernandez deemed not good enough for United. We had the buyback clause, didn't utilize that, and he's off to Madrid. It looks like.
But are we going to prioritize developing Harry Amos and Diego Leon for that position?
Mm. I mean, this is the other thing, though, isn't it? Like I just think we need a bit more experience. They're all so young. Leon, I know he's built like a tank, but he's 17 years old. He's coming in. Harry Amas again, he could probably do with a loan move if we're being honest, because of the lack of competition and that. You might as well keep him and rotate him around to give him a chance. And then Dorgu's 20 himself. So yeah, there's just and then the other experienced ones like Mazraoui aren't really naturally left-sided, though he can do a job there. And Dallo, he's not naturally left-sided either. So yeah, it's just a bit of a mess at the moment for me.
Yeah, Diego Leon, I've seen him playing in the Copa Libertadores, and he's an absolute beast of a man for and he,
You wouldn't think he is that age, would you? It's as if he's falsified his documents. The way that kid's built.
yeah, he does look to have the perfect physique for the Premier League. And tell you
Hmm.
what, he's certainly an attacking player. He's been getting goals from that left-sided
Yeah.
position. On uh,
And I'll tell you what, physicality is a big thing in the Premier League, isn't it? So that's one of the key
yeah,
things to be able to acclimatize to. And I'll tell you what, to give credit to Cunha, that's one of the qualities that, I do admire about him, is his physicality and the fact that he tracks back.
yeah, on presses, I've seen him get
Hmm.
goals by simply putting a defender under pressure. Um,
Yeah. Little bit of versatility as well, because he can cover just being up front on occasion when we need someone.
yeah, he would be playing up front now if we had him.
Well, yeah, he certainly would.
Uh, yeah, but we need to get a centre forward in the summer, but we're no closer to finding
Oh,
out who
yes.
that's going to be. You know, it's so many
And
names been
I'll
linked.
tell you what, Carl, I think Wednesday might play a role in that too. So that's another reason why it's imperative that we get over the line because that could mean the difference between,
Yeah,
going and getting one of the real heavy hitters in Europe.
the the absolute minimum that we would get from qualifying for the Champions League is 85.6 million or something like that.
Yeah,
In,
yeah,
in reality, it's probably going to be over the 100 million mark of the revenue that it will bring in. So
definitely.
this game is
Especially with the
massive.
revamped, yeah, especially with the revamped format, two extra games as well. So yeah, to be in it, it would be huge. And if we get there, then we're talking the big boys. We're, talking links to like the Oshermans and Jokeres in the summer. Whereas if we
Oh,
miss out, I think it might be the Liam Delapse.
no, no, no.
But I think that might be one that happens anyway, though, like because because of the age and the profile and the nationality, I can very much see someone like him coming in. But I wouldn't be comfortable if he's the only one that comes in. Like he can't be the senior striker. If he comes in, he's got to play understudy and he's got to take Hoyland's position.
If we sign Liam Delap as our marquee number nine signing, we have learned nothing from previous seasons.
Yeah, yeah,
Nothing. Because we've
yeah.
signed
But
Hoyland, who's not been good enough,
yeah,
and Xerxes, who's just not a number
it's
nine.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, self-anointed 9.5, as he likes to say, 9.5, and that.
I actually like Xerxes
Uh,
as a player, but he's just not a striker.
yeah, yeah. He's just not a striker. You just can't expect goals from him. But yeah, yeah. It's a shame he's out. Actually, he's a player who could have actually offered us a few things on Wednesday.
Yeah, he's another player. I mentioned about Diallo being able to beat a man and Garnacho able to do
Hmm.
that. Xerxes another player who can beat a man. He can just go past
Oh, and
clear.
he's a tank as well. The way
Yeah,
he's built, you know.
yeah. And boy, does he work his socks off.
Yeah, definitely.
I just love the effort that he puts in as well. Just a shame that he got that
Hmm.
injury against Newcastle.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been playing him in such a pointless Premier League fixture. I would have been resting him for that game. And the same happened to Lenny Yarrow. He didn't need to be playing in
Yeah.
that West Ham game, and now we could
Yeah.
be missing him now for a crucial final.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, for me, like when I looked at the fixtures and the level of time in between them, I thought, yeah, West Ham's the time to fully rotate the team. And then, the Friday game, I could understand why you'd put out a stronger team against Chelsea just because, with the game on Wednesday, you can't, there would have been too much of a gap otherwise for the senior players to not get a run out. You need to be match sharp and get your minutes in.
Yeah, I understand both arguments. You know, you don't want your players to be undercooked, but at the same time,
Hmm.
you don't want to risk injury to key players in
Yeah,
meaningless
it's a
games.
fine balance, isn't it? It's one of those ones. Like, because even like, because I would have started strong on against Chelsea, but then I would have been
Yeah.
looking to, make the key changes, take off the key men come like the 60th minute mark.
Yeah, that's what I would have done. He seemed to just he
Yeah.
didn't make many changes at all against Chelsea,
No,
did
no.
he? He
Yeah, yeah.
and he
And
and
he was probably it was probably stronger than most people anticipated as well.
he probably went with the team that he was thinking of starting in the final, but then
Mm,
performances in that Chelsea game might have changed his mind.
yeah,
Um,
defo, defo. I could definitely see that.
and he more or less hinted at that, in his post-match press conference, and that the
Yeah.
the Chelsea game had made his mind up in terms of who's going to start the Europa League
Hmm.
final. Um, yes, Spurs have taken the complete opposite approach, whereas they played a heavily rotated team against Dotson Villa on the Friday night. So I'm hoping their players are going to be undercooked for this final.
Yeah, yeah, same. I think they've gone the other way. I think they possibly rested too many. And it's a big distance if you think about it, like not playing since last weekend, you know,
Yeah, and
a good week and a half, almost 2 weeks that without.
Ansar picked up an injury in that game. Not sure if he's going to be
Yep.
out of the final or not. Um,
Uh, yep. I mean, it'll be devastating for the young man if he's missing. But from a very selfish point of view, I certainly hope so. I hope he
mm,
recovers on Thursday morning.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure
Like
he
it's
is.
never nice to wish. It's never nice to wish injury on players, right? So I hope he's totally fine, but I hope he gets the all clear on Thursday.
uh, in that league game at the start of last season at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where we lost 2-0 and Garnacho didn't get the handball penalty, which we should have got. I think Sarr scored against United in that game, if I remember correctly. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but what's what's massive is that both Kulusevski and Madison have both scored against United this season, and they're not going to be
Mhm.
playing, as I've said earlier. So
And both quality players as well. Difference makers on their day. So yeah, huge, huge
but
boost for us.
what I will say is that even though we lost 4-3 in the cup to them, I thought United were the better team and just give away sloppy goals by mistakes at the
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah. There was a lot
But
of mistakes that we could have cut out, but then I think they would probably say the same, right? Because I don't know
Yeah,
what Fraser Forster was thinking that day.
and when Diallo chased him down, and
Yeah,
his
because he really, he was adamant to, put us back in the game.
yeah,
Um,
Ahmad essentially blocked his
mhm.
attempted clearance and went into the net.
Yeah.
But yeah, but also in the league game where which Madison scored and Tottenham won 1-0, I think United had the better chances that day, and just as usual,
Mm.
he just couldn't put the ball in the onion bag.
Just didn't take it. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That's the
we're
thing.
due a performance against Spurs and a result
Mhm.
against Spurs. We're overdue that. But then
Both.
you'd say,
Listen, I'll take the result all day long.
yeah, of course, in a final,
As
it's
for the
all about the result.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. As for the performance, I mean, yeah, I'd love it, but yeah,
would
based on how things have gone this year, who knows?
wouldn't it be great if we were just really clinical, where if we're just
That would be
uh
brilliant. Listen, if we were prime time Stoke, if we just have like 100% conversion rate, two shots on goal, two shots on target,
yeah, like
two goals.
in the first half, Bruno scores, Mount scores, Casemiro
Yeah.
scores, and the game's put to bed at halftime. I just love that. Then we can just sit and relax and not be stressed out.
Yeah,
Uh,
for me, if we could take a lead into half time and then just shatter them in the second half by getting a quick goal, that would be the ideal situation. Because I think just when you come out into the second half, if you can get an early goal, I think the opposing team's team talk goes out the window and the players' heads drop.
yeah, let's get an early corner and get Harry Maguire's head on it,
Yeah.
and let's get that early lead.
And
Yeah,
talking of corners, I hope they've learnt their lessons as well. Because that when we were talking about that mad game in the League Cup, was it? Yeah, that bloody corner goal from Son that annoyed me.
mhm.
Brilliant finish from him, but again, there was just a lot of stupidness in the box, and we can't be letting stuff like that happen. And I remember
Yeah,
that because that week we conceded the same goal twice with both our goalkeepers.
yeah. And do you remember who scored the other one? Straight from a corner. It was
Cunha was it?
yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
he
and it
I
was
want
that one, and with that one, I can't even say the goalkeeper was impeded. Anana was just like, "Oh, hold my beer, pioneer."
to yeah, I want to see Kuna do that in the red shirt to make up for that.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm sure he will score many spectacular goals next season. I'm looking forward to that. And he's a full Brazil international. He scored against
Hmm.
Argentina in a recent game. I know Brazil didn't win the game, obviously, but Ancelotti's going to take charge of Brazil now. So
Yeah, and that's an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see what Don Carlo can do with them because they've definitely underwhelmed. Um, but they have got individuals who on paper are brilliant. So yeah, be interesting to see what happens there.
yeah, hopefully Kuna first and foremost thrives at United, but uh,
Hmm.
at, you always like to see your players do well at international level too.
Hmm.
And Kuna hopefully he does well under Ancelotti and in the World Cup in America, Canada, and Mexico for Brazil. But hopefully he's going to the World Cup off the back of scoring 20 goals for United. That would be brilliant.
Hopefully that would be the ideal scenario, wouldn't it? Yeah,
And he's
I
coming
hope
into his
so.
prime as well, which is important. This is not
Mhm.
we're not signing potential here. We're signing the finished article. So
No, this is definitely a player for the here and now. So yeah, he's what 25 going on 26. This is a
mm,
mature, player who's coming in to contribute now. So that's why I say he's got to hit the ground running really. And then the benefit as well, getting that deal done early, it means that he'll be on the preseason tour. Because I don't like that. I don't like that. The window drags on, and we usually bring players in towards the end, and they don't get to go on tour. They don't get that. Preseason is so important,
well,
just for fitness and for them to kind of gel with the team.
yeah, I'm hoping under Jason Wilcox and Christopher Vival that we are going to be more efficient in the transfer market and get our business done early.
Yeah, yeah, because I understand that sometimes you have to sort of dance according to uh how the market plays out, but yeah, your primary targets should always be in through the door come June, nice and early. You should identify them, get it done,
Yeah.
and then some deals you just have to like Van Persie, for instance, fell into our lap. Like there
Mm.
was no plans going into that summer to get Van Persie, it just sort of happened
Yeah, and as you said, Liverpool and Real Madrid have got their business done very early before the season even ended.
very early,
Uh,
very
the
well run Real
and
Madrid.
Yeah, it's not a surprise that Liverpool and Real Madrid are winning things in recent
Yep,
years,
yep.
given that they're
And I'll
run
tell
so
you what,
efficiently.
Carl, that kid Dean House, and he's going to go on to do great things. I didn't think he would be at Bournemouth long, but Real Madrid, what a move. With his age as well and profile, that could be like their next Rafa Varane. Because I remember they signed Varane when he was what, like 17, 18. So that's a piece for them for the next decade.
Yeah, it certainly is. They had to move for another young centre half because we took Lanier away from them, which we
Yep.
it's the only
Yep.
victory we've
I was
had on.
I was I was kind of sort of hoping that they'll go for Saliba, but hey ho.
Yeah, every time I think of Saliba, I think of Xerxes putting him on his ass with the double nutmeg. So I I don't see
Yeah,
him
this
as this.
season he's not been at his best this season, has he? Gabriel's probably been the better of the two this year, but last year he certainly looked good.
Yeah, I don't see him as this all-conquering centre half, to be honest. But if I'm honest, I don't watch Arsenal
Yeah,
every single week. Um, I
yeah,
know
I
that.
do think he's good for his age. I think he's very good, but yeah, hopefully he runs his contract down and goes to Madrid for free.
Yeah, quite happy with that. Same as
Yeah,
Trent,
I'll be
he's
happy with
done
that.
the same.
Yeah, yep.
Um,
With that one, listen, you can't really be mad at the guy, can you? He's achieved everything he can at that club, so
well, apparently
yeah,
they are.
what's he can?
They booed him.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
their
I mean,
recent
you can
home
never
game there.
tell another fan how to feel, right? So it's up to them. But yeah, it seems a bit harsh from the outside looking in. He's obviously a homegrown lad, and they didn't pay anything for him, and they've got years of service out of him. He's won every bloody thing available at the club, and he's going abroad. It's not like he's joining us or going to a close rival.
Yeah,
Like that would
I
be different. If you did the Sol Campbell thing, I can understand.
I think culturally Liverpool fans are different from United fans.
Yeah.
I You did not see Ronaldo getting booed when he came to Old Trafford in a Madrid shirt. That just didn't happen.
Yeah,
So
I think it might be due to the fact that he's a local lad, isn't it? So I think when you sign sort of like Portuguese, Spanish, or South Americans, I think there's probably a level of acceptance at some stage they'll want to play for Barcelona or Real Madrid.
yeah, I
But
mean
yeah,
he's not the first
you,
Liverpool player to do that.
yeah,
Like McManaman and Michael Owen did the same thing.
yeah, 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 yeah. And again, I don't think they get the best of reception. Steve McManaman as well. I think right move for his career at the time. He picked up two Champions League titles over there, and yeah, he was a wonderful player.
Yeah, I think the reason why Michael Owen isn't universally loved at Liverpool or loved at all, I think we all know what the main reason for that is.
Yeah,
Deciding to make that
yeah,
move late in his career to Man United and ruin his
and picked up a
legacy.
league title as well.
Yeah,
Something that Steven Gerrard never got round to achieving in his career.
no, there's many players, of course, at United
Yep.
who are not of the same quality as Steven Gerrard, who have
Yeah.
won Premier League medals, multiple medals. In fact,
Hmm.
was it Anderson win five? And let's be honest, he
It's
was.
insane. It's insane when you think about it. He's one that in his younger days he did have a lot of potential, but he didn't fulfill that. I think he was more about the lifestyle and stuff, the party, and then what.
Yeah, they won the league and Champions League in his first season, and then he's just stopped caring
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. That's the thing. And then it's a bit funny how football works out because obviously Michael Owen moved to Real Madrid in order to win the Champions League, and then we know what happened in Istanbul in '05. And then this season as well, Kylian Mbappe makes his long-awaited move to Real Madrid, only for PSG to be in the final.
That's right, yeah. Just realized that. And firm
Yeah,
favourites to
so
win
that'll
it
be
too.
interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It'd be an
Mm.
interesting one that one. And then Inter Milan, for their league form is a bit choppy. Um, they lost like two games in a row. They lost three games in a row actually without scoring a goal before going into the semi-final with Barcelona. And in the league at the weekend as well, they could have capitalized and taken the lead in the league, but they drew in the end. They drew 2-2, gave away a penalty in the 90th minute, and their game finished 2-2. And then Napoli dropped points as well, but it doesn't matter because Inter couldn't get over the line. So there's 1 point separating the two teams going into the final weekend.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't begrudge McTominay a Scudetto.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, look, our old boys are in both of their teams, so they've got Mattia Darmian and Mkhitaryan over at Inter, Lukaku and Scotty in Naples. So yeah, It
Yeah.
just seems that we're cursed. I was reading the other day that Aaron Wan-Bissaka is West Ham's Player of the Year.
Yeah, and wouldn't you know, he
Mm.
would get an assist
Yeah,
for West Ham against
yeah,
United at Old
yeah.
Trafford, and he
And
was,
who would have fathomed that he'd be playing as a bloody wing back?
yeah, originally a winger at the start of his career,
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah, which we couldn't fathom in it because yeah, from what we've seen, I was like, oh yeah, but
But
yeah,
but the the biggest example of what you're saying is Anthony at Real Betis. Incredible.
oh mate, listen, they love him, they love him.
Yeah,
He's waving their flag around, they're
it's
loving it. He's turning up in big games. I saw the semi-final highlights in the Conference League, and oh, the free kick he scored was superb.
against De Gea. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Dave had no chance with that one, and
but
then he turned up with the assist as well for the other crucial goal. I mean, he's doing the damn thing. I just hope that they can overcome Chelsea in the final by some miracle, and also if they qualify for Europe, I think they're like sixth in the league in La Liga. If they qualify for Europe, hopefully they can put together the funds to make that deal permanent.
skeptical about that one.
Yeah,
I don't think they're the type
but
of club that have an awful lot of money. But
yeah, yeah, yeah. To be honest, I was surprised by how much of his wages they were willing to cover. They're paying about just under 85 grand, which is mad. I
I
didn't
think
think they would.
there's he's, there's been links to Atletico Madrid.
That would be the smart one because obviously we know they've got the funds, and
Yeah,
Simeone likes to play a 4-4-2 now, so yeah, he could slot in as a winger.
yeah, and
Yeah,
we know that Simeone likes a dog, and
yeah,
Anthony is a dog.
and
So
Anthony is that, and he can be very one-track minded as well if you want him to be, and that'll be right up his street.
yeah, and that would be a nice wee
Yeah, and I'll
contribution
tell
to
you
our.
what, he hasn't done his his valuations any harm in that loan move. So I'm
No,
hoping we can claw back a fair bit if Atletico are interested.
yeah, we'd be looking at like 30 to 40 million euros now, which would have
Hmm.
been unthinkable 6 months ago.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, unfathomable, isn't it? So yeah, yeah, I'd be more than happy with that.
So back to the final.
Mhm.
I'm quietly confident, but not overconfident.
Yeah.
I think they have the upper hand in terms of their goalkeeper and defense, but I think we have more match winners, as I've said. They have
Mhm.
Solanke and Son Heung-min, and they're missing three key players, whereas we have Ahmad, Bruno Fernandes,
Yeah.
Garnacho, Casemiro, and Harry Maguire, who can all contribute with goals. Um, yeah, and Mason Mount, of course, as well. So
Hmm.
I think we've got more goals in us, but I just worry about us at the back.
Yeah.
We
It's the
don't,
silly mistakes that concern me, Carl. If we can keep that to a minimum, then we've got every chance of winning this.
it's we need Lana Yarrow to be fit, and we need Onana to not drop any goals in. Uh, that is obviously a major if. Yeah, it's there. I think,
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree. Lindelof and Luke Shaw give me nightmares.
and their midfield. I think it's going to be. Is it Basingwa, who used to play for Brighton. Um, then Sarr, if he's fit, and then Bentancur. Would you say that is better or worse than our midfield?
I would say our one's definitely more experienced.
Yeah, it
Going
is.
into a game like this, I'd rather have Cass, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if Bruno's going to play deeper, then definitely yes, I prefer our
Yeah.
midfield. It's just
Mhm.
Ugarte is probably the only one that I would be concerned about. He's not been
Yeah.
in the greatest run of form lately.
No,
Um,
no. And he's a limited player, isn't he? So he's good at what he does, but he doesn't really provide anything else. So it's one of those.
Yeah, that's another selection that the manager will have to ponder. Whether maybe play
Mhm.
Casemiro and Bruno in the deeper positions, and then play Diallo and Mount
Yeah.
at number 10, and maybe Hoyland up front or Manu as the false
Yeah.
nine.
And I'll tell you
Um,
what, when you see PSG this season, you can see why they've moved on and they've gone in another direction because the midfield they've got is just very fluid. both going forward and defensively. You know,
Yeah.
João Neves. It's a player that we looked at, I think, but we were probably priced out of the move. But yeah, he looks real quality. Vitinha as well, one-time Wolves man.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
looks very tidy. Even Fabian Ruiz, but age is the only thing there. But yeah, I mean, he's a Euro winner as well, and he so yeah, you know what to expect there.
Unfortunately we're not playing PSG in the Champions League final. We're playing Spurs in the
Well,
Europa
thankfully,
League.
thankfully, I'll be more concerned. I won't be able to sleep. I wouldn't be able to sleep from now till Wednesday if we had to take on PSG.
Well, if we were, we'd have a much better team, you know, than what we currently have to even get
Yeah,
into
yeah,
that
you are.
position.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Yeah, yeah. Stuff of nightmares going into a Champions League final with this team. Jesus.
Yeah, they would never make it anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's extraordinary that they've even made it to a Europa League final, given how bad they've been in the
mhm,
Premier League. Uh,
definitely.
I think the manager really needs this as well,
Yeah,
because
yeah, he absolutely does. There was a part of me that thought as well, Carl. If he wins, do you think there's a chance that he might just walk away?
um, I'm going to say no, because
Yeah.
first and foremost, you're forfeiting a lot of money if you do that, and
Mm,
and
mm.
secondly, I'm sure he wants to have a proper summer window
Yeah.
before he.
Because
Uh,
I'll tell you what, because I don't think he was probably expecting just a level of scrutiny. Also, the amount of interviews and stuff as well is kind of annoying. I don't know who's in charge, if he's obligated to do all these bloody interviews, but there's so many interviews.
yeah, I just think he probably still believes in himself and knows that this team does
Hmm.
not suit his system and these players are not good enough. So
Yeah,
he'll want to be able to bring in his own players and then have
definitely,
a crack at it. So yeah, I don't think he'll
definitely.
walk away. And anybody who's
Yeah.
saying that is talking nonsense.
Hmm.
You know,
I think the key though is that, with our planning for transfers, we have to think long term. So
yeah,
if the worst were to happen, and even say in a year, or he's got 2 years left on his contract, isn't it? So say this time next year they decide he's not the guy and they don't want to renew his contract or whatever, there needs to be continuity with the players. So I'm
I
hoping that
know.
they do their due diligence and they sign players that fit multiple systems, because we can't keep doing this where every 2 years we get a new guy in and they spend their 2 years, dismantling what the last guy did.
But
It's just insane.
you can't bring in players though that are not good enough. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you're talking about players who fit multiple systems, and
Hmm.
Dorgu comes to mind, but I don't think he's good enough. You
Well,
know,
yeah. I mean, you need a higher caliber of player as well for the first team, firstly. But yeah, players like Dorgu are, for me, nothing more than a rotational option, squad rotation
yeah,
and strength
definitely,
in depth, I guess.
yeah, definitely. I think there's more chance of him being sacked than him walking away. To be honest,
Hmm.
what happens if
Hmm.
we don't win this match and
Yeah,
on the back of that horrible league season? But then
yeah.
if Ineos were to turn around and change it again, then they begin
Hmm.
to look bad. They look like they don't know what they're doing, and that's even
Definitely. I mean, listen, it already looks stupid what they've done. Especially the Dan Ashworth thing really irks me. That was the one. We chased a man for 6 months to sack him after five.
yeah, they've certainly made a few mistakes.
Yeah.
That's a bit
So I mean,
worrying.
there's two ways to look at that, and obviously that you can say that they've corrected their mistakes early on, which is great. But then at the other time, it does show a lack of due diligence in getting him in the first place, given the amount of time you invested in trying to get him.
I know, and the money that it costs to get rid of him too, on top of Ten Hag.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm.
So yeah, those are the things. But yeah,
Yeah,
time will tell. But
and you
we'll
might.
definitely have to do a show after Wednesday because then we can really talk transfers and budget and stuff.
Oh, we certainly will. Hopefully, we're doing a celebratory show on
Yeah, yeah,
Thursday evening.
yeah, yep.
Um, eh, I just, I'll tell you what, if we're not doing a celebratory show, it's going to be a very, very depressing podcast. I
It
have to
is.
say.
Well, listen, if it doesn't work out, then hey ho, get ready for Liam Delap. But then
Uh,
apparently he's come out. Apparently, there's quotes saying that he wants European football. So
yeah, I tell you what,
imagine a world in which we get turned down by Liam bloody Delap.
So I chuckled at that because I thought, who the hell does he think he is? His last season he scored 8 goals in the championship for Hull. This
Yeah, yeah,
season he
yeah,
scored about 13 goals for Ipswich, who've been relegated, and he's demanding
yeah.
European football. Who does he think he is?
I mean, I
Honest-
don't know if it's a direct quote from him or if it's his agent. I mean, I kind of respect it, but at the same time, it's kind of silly to come out and say, that's
You know,
one of those things that you
if
sort of say behind closed doors.
if you're 21 year old and your career to date
Yeah,
has been at Hull and Ipswich in
you're
terms of
just
your
trying to establish yourself in the Premier
and
League. You would
yeah,
think,
and if Man United are interested, you should be jumping at the chance. I mean,
yeah,
like he just if he believes what his agent is putting out there, then he seems like a wee bit too big for his boots, in my opinion, and I'm glad to miss out on him. He's
yeah.
not
We'll
what.
have to see.
Mm,
We'll have to see. For me, ideally, I don't even think we're the perfect club for him. I think he should go to Aston Villa.
yeah, quite happy for him to go elsewhere.
Yeah,
I want Aston Villa to spend 40 million on Rashford if at all possible.
yes, yes. If they could get that over the line, that would be great. Because that's another headache. Because if he comes back, then where else does he go?
Do you know,
Um,
it might be good for us if they get the Champions League football on the final day, even though they'll be playing us
yeah,
and they have to
yeah,
beat
yeah.
it.
Because that could mean the difference between making that move permanent or not, and not. So
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, what does bode well for us is that when fit, Emery's chosen him in the big games ahead of Ollie Watkins.
he has, yeah, and Watkins is not too happy about that apparently.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there was an Arsenal bid for Watkins as well in the end of Jan, so he might move on, which again would strengthen, them wanting to sign Brashy.
So we will definitely pick this up again on
Hmm.
Thursday evening after the Europa League final, and hopefully we're talking about a big win for Manchester United. Want to
Yeah,
see Bruno
yeah.
Fernandes lifting the
Hopefully,
trophy in
hopefully
Bilbao.
I'm drinking in celebration, Carl. But either way, I'm going to be drinking.
Yeah. Uh, so please, everybody, subscribe to the podcast, get your comments in, and like the video if you're watching on YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, and get the word out there to as many United fans as possible. And I will see you at the other end of the Europa League final, Brush.
Yep, pleasure as always. Catch you next time.
Right. See you later.